Hey guys, it's Chad Close here with Close Blender and also CD Gaming. If you haven't, you should check out our new game, Spheric, on Google Play Store for the Android. It's a pretty fun game. Some pretty cool stuff there. Some screenshots. Look at some of our other games. There's also a video there. Alright, let's jump right into today's tutorial. We are going to make a turret, kind of a space-like turret. Should be pretty cool. I'm gonna kind of wing it. So let's begin. Let's look at some pictures of space turrets. Just look at get some references. All right. So let's begin with building the body. Yeah, so I'm just going to tab into edit mode right here. Scale this sucker down. And let's subdivide it in half by hitting Control R. And then you can move it, but I'm just going to right click it and put it there. I am going to push this button, which enables you to select things like through it, so like you can see through the object. So I can select these back vertices and just delete the left side. We're going to go over here to the modifiers tab, add a simple mirror modifier, and we're going to modify it by the x-axis. And we're going to enable clipping. Clipping, what that does is, say if I turn it off, I can move these vertices. But if I have clipping on, I can't. It clips it to the axis that you're mirroring across, which is pretty nice. So this box is kind of looking kind of lame. So let's add in some cuts by hitting Control R, and then let's scale them up by hitting Z and Z, lock on the Z axis, and let's go about 2.2, and then let's scale it, or Control R, going over here, -0.7, I'll do, and then we're just going to grab all these vertices. Make sure you have this limits on, otherwise this isn't going to work, and we're just going to scale it in, but we're going to turn it on to the 3D cursor, so that way it scales into there instead of just up and down like what it would look like. So let's get a more boxier view. Let's add some more cuts in here. And let's lower this one. I'm going to change to face select mode. Select these, extrude them down along the z-axis. And then we're going to grab this plane, move it in. Grab this edge and bring her down. Kind of like that. Maybe bring it in. Right now I'm on the edge tool. So again, a little better shape. I'm just going to delete the bottom. I don't really like it, so let's just keep boxing out the gun or the turret. So let's just go over here, click over here. Let's add another cube. Turn off clipping because it's across the axis, so if you try to scale it down with clipping on, it'll clip it, and we don't want that. So just turn it off, turret blurring, scale it down so it's within your range, and then turn it back on. Alright, so let's see. I think that's about a good size, and yeah, that's good. Alright, so let's modify this a little bit. Let's take this back and just move it back a little bit. And now let's get kind of a simple kind of turret gun. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a circle on this thing. Pretty easy to do. Way to do that is to select all these vertices and then hit Shift S and then go cursor to selected, and it'll put the cursor right there. And then we can just go in here, add mesh circle. We're going to hit the T button to bring up this tab, expand this, and we're just boxing it out. So let's just do 8 vertices. We're trying to go for a pretty low poly count because this is going to end up being a game object. So we're going to first make a low poly, and then we're going to go ahead and make a high poly count and make it really detailed, and then we're going to make a bump map for the low poly to make it look better. So if you use it in an engine such as Unity, that's what I use, it'll work out nicely and you'll have some good run times. So we're going to rotate this, or actually let's scale it down, and as you know, got to turn the clipping off. If you are in edges or faces, you're not going to be able to scale this down. So let's just scale it down and then rotate it about the x-axis by hitting RX and then 90. Scale it down, and then we're going to go hit 7, go up on the top. So extrude this sucker out. We're going to kind of have a fat beginning. Oh, going to want to turn off 3D cursor and go to bounding box. So scale that out. Just kind of get some a look that we like. Again, I'm just hitting E to extrude. You can see all my keys down here. E to extrude, and then S to scale, R to rotate, the simple, basic ones. And let's just fill that in. So we kind of got a basic look up for our turret. Let's it's going to be a space turret, so it's going to be floating. So it's going to have some propulsion system on it, I guess you could say. Let's save this. So now the question is, do we want one big rocket or do we want 4 little rockets? Let's just kind of go in here. I like using Google and just get some references. Not helping us here. But just kind of look at this. Alright, so we're just going to have one engine at the bottom. And we're going to kind of, not for this big looker, but we're going to go for a smaller look. Kind of like this, but really scrunched. And then maybe we could put some blasters on the left and right. Maybe, I don't know. We'll play around with it. So let's go ahead. Let's make this bottom. We are going to go W, hit the W button, go up to the loop tools, and then hit circle. And then we're going to scale her down. Yeah. We're going to scale it down. We're going to hit loop 2, circle again. Oh, there you go. So now it's a nice circle at the bottom. If you don't have loop tools, you can go up to File, User Preferences, and just search loop tools, select it, good to go in the add-on tab. Alright, so now we got that going for us. Let's kind of keep boxing this out. So we're just going to... Actually, first we're going to go... we're going to change this to the 3D cursor, and then we're going to put our 3D cursor... Yeah, sorry about that. My roommate walked in on me. Life of a college kid. Alright, so... we are going to select these 2 vertices because we're going to want the 3D cursor in the middle of this circle because we're using a mirror modifier. And if you just select these and you scale them down, it kind of goes in because it goes towards the center of those vertices. But we want these vertices kind of be selected too, so we're going to put 3D cursor right there. So we're just going to collect those 2 and then do Shift S, cursor to selected, and then we'll get it right in the middle. Select this edge loop. Now we can just scale it in. Oh, I gotta turn that back on. Oh. Alright, scale it in. So there we go. Extrude it down on the Z-axis. Screwed it out. And then, well, it's pretty big. Let's just scale it all down. There we go. Something like that. Not too worried about it right now. And then just fill it in. So, kind of basic outline. of our turret. So I'm just gonna save this, duplicate it, move it to another one. Actually, we can add some more detail. We're only at 232 faces. That's not that bad. Let's unboxy, make this stuff unboxy. We're gonna add 2 Control R cuts right there. Extrude this sucker down. Actually, add a cut right there. Delete this vertex. So we're just gonna scratch what we just did. Undo that. And yeah, so we're gonna grab the faces and we're gonna extrude this sucker down to say about there. That's alright. And we're gonna delete that vertex. And then we're gonna actually, let's go like this. Let's hit L over here, over this one, and just hit H and I'll hide it. Hide that too. So now we're just working with this. So we're just gonna select these vertices, fill them in, pretty easy. Select them by holding Shift and then hit F. And then we're just gonna select them all. We're gonna go over here and do remove doubles. We're fine, so. Alright. Now let's get kind of a bevel going on right here. So let's go on the inside. Oh, this way. Something's wrong. Never mind, we're fine. We're fine. Alright, so we're going to add edge loop right here. And then we're going to add, go up here. Add a loop right there. Add a loop right there. And then we're going to grab this using the edge tool. Grab these. And we're going to look at it from the front view. We're going to go Z and the X, move it in a little bit, and the Y. Get a nice little bevel going on right there. Let's kind of make it, let's make it pretty big. I'm just selecting these loop by holding Alt key. If you don't know that, it's down here too. Just moving these out. Let's select those edges again. Actually, we're gonna move this back. Move this back. We're gonna move this one up Y. This one Z. Alright, I knew something funky right there. Let's just go ahead and delete this face. Select that loop. We'll do the same thing over here. Just like that. Alright, this is looking pretty cool. We're gonna go and kind of cut this edge off right here. This back section. Kind of looks stupid. So we're just gonna make this, kind of make it look like a box. Delete this corner. Oh. Select these vertices. And there we have it. On the bottom, let's bevel it. The second I say we knew we're going for a little poly, I just crank out the polygon. Good job, Chad. Good job. Alright. We're actually just going to select the entire bottom after we add that loop and just scale it down using bounding boxes. There we go. Looking much better. And we're only looking not even 400 faces, so we're good here. Let's see. Alright, we're gonna add another kind of cut into this back section. So we're gonna want to unhide that. So we're just gonna hit Alt H to unhide. Easy enough. Add an edge loop. Ooh, this is gonna be a lot. We could go like this. We're gonna select these vertices Or actually, we'll go edges. That edge, that edge. What else do we need? For right now, we'll just select those two. And we're going to hit subdivide. And then we'll just delete this vertice, delete this edge. Oh. We're going to grab this sucker, extrude it down. Alright, sorry, people keep walking in my room. Alright, so, where were we? We extruded this sucker down, and now we're going to select this vertice and this vertice. Sorry if I'm talking really fast. I just want to finish this tutorial in a reasonable amount of time. So we're going to scale it. Oop, not subdivide. Scale it along the z-axis. Oh, what the hell? Alright. Scale z 0. So that just makes them even. Fill that sucker in. We're going to extrude this one out along the y-axis. And then we're going to extrude it along the x-axis into the middle. And we're going to extrude it down. Select these vertices again, scale 0. Make everything flat. And we're going to have to extrude this down. Do the same, scale Z 0. Alright, so now we can fill them in. So just control or hold shift down and fill them in. Oops. Gotta make sure you select the right vertices. Alright, so now we kind of have a back cutout section, and now we can kind of actually move this around. And we forgot about that one. So, move that one. We're going to turn off limits, so we can kind of get a better look at this. And let's actually move this in, so it's kind of more like that. There. It's looking pretty good. You know, I think that's looking good. We're almost to 400 faces, good amount. So now we can start adding some more detail onto this turret. One thing to note is this is going to be a game object, so you should actually have these two different objects. So we're just going to control V, separate by selection. Because that way in a game you can have these rotate like that, up and down, and then this can rotate along the Z, and then you'd have these parented, so you can go like that, rotate these along the X. I guess you could have these rotate a little, but for gaming, for programming perspectives, it would be easier if you have two objects, and might as well do it now so you don't have to redo it, retexture it, stuff like that. Sorry. So, let's duplicate this by hitting Shift D. Then we're just going to right click it, make sure it's in the same spot, because when we're adding bump maps, you're going to want it in the same spot. Otherwise everything's going to be screwed up. And yeah. And then we're going to hit the M button to move. And then we're just going to move it to this second layer over here. Now real quickly, we are going to rename all this stuff. So we're going to go here to the low poly. Just name it low poly body. Same thing right here. Pretty sure this is a high poly body. And of course I was wrong. So let's just change this to gun. Change this to high poly body. Now these really don't have to be two different objects, so we're just gonna join them up and just have a high poly turret, I guess. This doesn't really matter. Oop. And now let's go ahead and add some details. Some things I always like to do is just add some cuts. 4 of them's good. And then select the faces and just click them, extrude, and then scale them in. Don't know why, but I kind of like that look. that up and down. Let's extrude this in. Actually kind of like that. There we go. Kind of got that going on. What else do we need here? Let's kind of update this engine a little bit. Scale. Let's put the cursor right there. Shift S, remember? Change it down here to 3D cursor. Also, I think you can hit period. So say you're on bounding, you can hit period. That goes to 3D cursor. I never use it, but if you want to, you can. Let's just extrude it in. Extrude it up. Actually, we're going to extrude it down a little bit. Like that. The bump map will catch that up. One thing to note with bump maps is you can't, I mean, it gets almost everything, but it's not going to get every major detail. So like say I extruded this out like this, you're not going to see that in the bump map. You'll see a little bump and that's it. So just one thing to note when you're doing this. Let's up here. What can we add in up here? Let's add some vents, like right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select these, move my cursor there so I don't have to move it later. Let's just add a box in here. We're gonna have to turn off clipping. Scale that sucker down. We're gonna scale along the Z, just keep scaling it down to a good size. We're gonna turn on our limits here so we can see. Yeah, we'll put one here, or two here maybe. So let's just move that over, and then let's put some edge loops in here. We're just gonna add 2. Control R, 2, click, scale X. Oop. Let's get off 3D cursor, scale X. Do the same thing here, but with scale Y. Let's bring these suckers in. Alright, select the top. And then let's add like, let's see. That's not right. Yeah, sure, 2 edge loops. Screwed this down. Extrude this down. Select all these faces. Extrude them up, and then let's extrude them up again. And then we're gonna have to select them individually, otherwise the scaling will be red. We'll just scale them all down. So now we kind of got a, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know, a vent or just something on it. And then let's just put them around this edge. I'm just hitting Shift D to duplicate them and then move them around. So there, we should actually, no, we're gonna put vents right here. How about, so let's extrude, no, not extrude. Add in some edge cuts, edge loops. 6 of them will be good. Scale this out. And let's see. Trying to think how I want to do these vents. We're going to just extrude them in. Screw them in a little bit and then scale them in Z so they're skinnier. We kind of want them wide. One thing I've noticed when using bump maps, it's better to extrude out than in. It picks it up better. So we're just gonna click all these, extrude them up, and then we're gonna move them back. So, yeah, good enough. Again, I'm using this for a game, so you're actually you see it like that big in the screen. So these little details won't really matter terribly much, but they'll be there. Let's have some kind of like coils or something like that back here. So we're just gonna move the cursor right there so we don't have to do it later. Add in a circle. Let's just do 6. Ooh, actually, bump map probably won't pick this up the best. We're just gonna still add this in here. And undo clipping, make sure you go off faces. Turn clipping back on. We're gonna hit Control 1 to look at the back. Scale it down, rotate along the x-axis. Oh, undo that. Rotate around the x-axis. Rotate x 90. There we go. We're gonna bring this down. Bring it right to the edge. And then we're going to extrude it out along the Y. And then extrude it again and kind of just bring her down. Gotta bring it back. Rotate it 90, bring it down so it's flat to the bottom. And now we can add in some edge loops and kind of round this out. Alright, move this back. I guess we can't do that, so we'll just take it as we go. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to separate this. And then we're going to, let's see if this will work, array. Oh, there we go. Let's see what this does. Yep, awesome. So that kind of works, kind of. We're going to hit apply there. Oh, move this above the array, above the mirror modifier, and apply that. And then we're just going to conjoin it back. And there we go. Kind of looks kind of cool. Let's go ahead and save this. Let me get a drink of water. Alright, what could we do in here? It's a good question. Either you could have like this be glass and you could have like an actual person type of kind of style. That is probably what I'm gonna do, because the game I'm making this for, it's gonna take up kind of residential population, so it would only make sense that a person is in the turret, even though not really, but still. Actually, you know, I have no idea what to do with this. I got an idea. Let's go back up here. Let's just take this one of these rings over here. We can just duplicate it and then move it over here. And we are going to rotate it 90, move it against the side, turn off clipping, we're going to extrude it out a little bit, turn back on clipping, and then we are just going to make some tubing, because we can. About that, my recorder timed out, so let's just keep adding some tubing here. You can just kind of just go wherever you want, not really a big deal. Alright, so there's one. We're going to bring this over here. We're going to rotate around the x-axis. Kind of get this flattened out. We can always go scale 0. And then go circle so it's a perfect circle. And then let's extrude it up. Kind of have it so it's coming out of here. Oh, I'm going way too high. Alright. It's kind of cool. It's like a symbol almost type of thing. Let's put something right here. So let's just cursor to selected just so it's at the right plane, so we don't have to just judge that. We're gonna have this about 8. Might as well do 12. It's a high poly, so undo clipping, scale this sucker down. Alright, scale this down more. Go from the vertical. We're just going to put that right there. Extrude it up. Extrude it up again. Actually, 2's good enough. And then let's take one of these 6 rings. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We are going to use a pre-made object. So we're going to select this middle, cursor to selected, and then we're going to add in a torus. Yeah. Undo clipping. And we are going to come over here. Location, rotation, major radius. We're going to bring that down. Minor radius, we're going to bring that down. Bring that down more. Bring this down some. Is that the smallest I can get? It is. Well, I guess that's fine. That's fine. Alright. And right on front, we're going to add just some more vents. How about? So let's add in some edge loops. 6 of them. 1. Yeah, that's good. Oh, what we're going to do here, we're going to just add another edge loop right here. Extrude this and then scale it along the z-axis. So we still want this touching right there. Because it's a mirror, so we're going to want it all the way across. And yeah, so let's select all of these, go to the side profile, extrude it over, extrude it down. Here we go. The engine, we should probably add something. Let's just add some pipes going right. That's not going to show up too good in the bump map. We can just, let's see, what can we do here? Let's just see how this looks. I'm just extruding and extruding it down. I just want to see what this looks like real quick. It's not half bad. Not good, but I'm just adding edge loops and kind of extruding. I remember extruding out normally looks better. So I need a couple more edge loops right here. Extruding out looks better than extruding in on bump maps, so extrude out instead of in. And my clipping is turned off, so we're just going to select that stuff. Make it lock. File, save this thing. Should we have some detail on the back? We should. What can we put here? Should just put some tubing, some piping. We could do that. Shift duplicate. Some easy. Gotta bring these in. Actually, we're gonna go like this too. Bring these over. Okay. Come on, there we go. Come on. There we go. Something like that. I guess we can always... This doesn't really matter considering you'll never see the bottom of this because my view is from the top. So really this stuff is the most important. Off this front edge, we could copy... Let's copy this. So let's select these. Shift duplicate it. Grab along the y-axis. Rotate it 90. In this case negative 90. Move it down. Scale it. Scale it up. And then plug it in here. There we go. Kind of looks like a symbol or something like that. It's kind of cool. And let's just do the same thing up here. Let's add some piping. So let's just duplicate this. Move it over here. Move it up along the z-axis. Put it up to the edge. Turn off clipping so we can extrude it out. Turn it back on. And just kind of play around with it. Oh, actually, I go like this. That's good enough. There we go. Or we could actually there we go. There we go. So something like that. There we go. Kind of looks cool. Alright, so there we go. Now, I guess time on this video is kind of getting kind of long, so I'm not going to texture it for sure. But I can show you how to put a simple bump map on it. I guess I can. So we're going to go over here and go to our low poly maps. I'm just going to select it and make some simple UV maps that'll work. So I'm just going to select them, go U to unwrap, smart UV wrap, just hit OK. Come over here to, and you can see it. Same thing right here, U smart on V. And then we're going to want to go UV pack images. Make sure the other one's good. Alright, so we're going to do the main body first. So we're going to hit new. Alright, my screen capture ran out of time again. So go over here, delete this, type in main body bump. 1024 is fine. Turn off alpha, turn on 32-bit float. And then we're going to go back into object mode. We're going to select, hold shift and select both the layers down. And then we're going to have the high poly body turret selected, and then hold shift, low poly, and then click the camera, go down to bake, normals, tangent. This should all be good. You're going to have to select from active. I like doing 10 and 5, don't know why. That's just what I do. And then you just simply hit bake. You can see it process up there, and there you go. There you have your simple bump map. And then we can do the same thing for the low poly gun. So select the low poly gun, or the high poly turret, low poly gun. Oh, just wait. Let's exit out of this. Go into the low poly, new gun bump. Turn off alpha, turn on 32-bit. Go back into object mode. Now high poly, low poly, bake. And there we go. And let's see if I can quickly show you this. Let's just go to the low poly. Set up some simple materials. My brother is online. Hit new. Image movie. Oop. Just select our main body bump. Go to UV map. And then we're just gonna, color is fine. We're gonna go and turn this on to texture. So there. So that's pretty cool. You can see all the little rivets and stuff. And if you put this in Unity, say, that's the program I use. You'll turn this into a bump map, and it'll look pretty nice. Yeah. I don't think it shows it in the preview. I'd have to render it out, and I don't have a camera set up, so I guess I can do that real quick. Add in Hemi light. Quickly render it up. And yeah. So, don't know why that looks like that. Let's go over here and look at the main body. As you can see, there's some rivets right here. So let's go ahead and kind of edit this up. We can go high poly, or then low poly body. Go back to bake it, and as you can see, they're still there. So we can change some of the settings. Just change distance to that. See what this gets us. Didn't work. You play around with these enough. As you can see, everything disappeared. That's because my distance or my bias wasn't high enough. So, yeah. It's not that big of a deal. You can just go in Photoshop and you could actually just edit these out and have them be the plain purple. That's actually probably what I'm going to do. I'm just going to bake this. Back to what I used to have. There we go. And yeah. Just go to this. Yeah, that's fine. As you can see, the extrudes that were down here go in instead of out. So that's one of the main reasons that doesn't look that good. But I'm overall pretty happy with this because you can only see the top and everything's good with that. Just touch that up in Photoshop, these two things. Just make them this plain purple when you actually use the bump map. So that has been a pretty simple tutorial. Well, not simple, but it's been a tutorial on how to make a bump map and kind of a space turret type of thing. So hope you guys enjoyed. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. Make sure you go check my game out, Spheric with CD Gaming. Me and my friend collaborated on this one, first game. We also have some fun games over here that you can always check out too. Thanks, and have a nice weekend, I guess.